How does a company that is still young, you were only started in 2006, how do you scale and do so many things when there's so much technology out there that you could possibly work with?
It is a constant struggle to remain focused. So we set out our plans in a roll forward method where it's looking forward at least 4 quarters, but then also looking forward 5 years, right? So you have to zoom out and then come back in. That continuous planning framework for us has actually been the most successful because technology changes. We can say that we're going to do, we've hacked Beacon already. We know how it works with our technology. It's been built in several different hackathons at Eventbrite over the last 2 years. But as we get forward to taking something to actually all of our users, that technology is going to evolve, right? Everything that we build is going to evolve, which is the challenge of being a technology company. But I think that for us, it's about remaining open, that what we build is always going to be up for evolution. And that's exciting. It's definitely not boring. But I also think that it's about focus. So there are so many bright, shiny objects out there in so many ways. Don't even get me started. I mean, once you get to the event, you could have your favorite drink and food delivered to you at your seat because we know where you're sitting, we know who you are, we have your wallet, we know what your preferences are. You could be finding your friends at a festival. When I was at this 40,000 person festival last weekend, there was a lot of texting going back and forth as to where to meet and when. That could be seamless. So there's so many different ways in which we could achieve that. How do we scale? We develop great technology. We develop a open API that anybody can hook into. We build a community of developers who are excited about our platform, and we try not to do everything ourselves. So it's that balance of focusing, but also creating this open environment where people can take your platform and innovate in ways that you didn't even know were possible, which is the most exciting part, I think.
That makes so much sense. How many employees do you have now?
We have 350 worldwide.
And you're in 7 offices, I understand?
6 offices,
6 offices.
yes, and 7 soon. In the next quarter, we'll open an office in Berlin.
How many countries do you actually provide a service to?
So we've ticketed over 190 countries have used our service because it's a self-service open platform. But we've zeroed in on about 14 different countries and truly made an effort in localization, which I think we're learning as a young company. It's actually not as easy as we thought it would be. I think, when you see usage in 190 countries, you think, well, we could just translate and take off. And it's actually not as easy as one would think. So getting into that local culture, understanding the nuances around payments. We processed $1 billion last year. That's no small feat to be getting that right on a local level. When just in last year, I've realized that Eventbrite is global in demand and local in nature. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you know this very well, but we have to understand how we can scale our international playbook. And we're doing that actually quite rapidly this year.
And are the things that you offer overseas, let's say in Brazil, is it localized in the Portuguese language, or is it all in English?
It is. So Brazil's a special case. We actually acquired a company in Latin America called Eventios, and for the specific reason of acquiring an amazing team, but B, also going after that emerging market because it's very important. And so that is localized. I don't think we would have a localized site for Brazil if we didn't have Eventios right now. That's coming in the next couple of years. But Germany is also a huge opportunity for us. And so we've worked really hard to build a playbook for Germany that will be rolling out by the end of this year.
So when I think of sports around the world, I do a lot in India. It's all about cricket.
Yeah.
If you go to, as you mentioned, Germany, it's all about football, we call soccer.
Right.
Do you zero in on specific big theme sports locally?
That's interesting. We haven't yet. We have, I guess I'll say that we have zeroed in on categories. So again, when we have this myriad of categories to choose from, instead of books and electronics, it's conferences versus music events. And we do look at the local culture and understand, what are the most prevalent categories and where do we see that organic sort of long tail activity? Because Eventbrite we ticketed over 1 million events last year alone. So it is very long tail in nature. So we look for those categories where we think we could have early adopters. Oftentimes it's tech. So there are these tech hubs emerging around the world, is basically your first point. Second is live entertainment. So how do create that brand awareness around live entertainment? And then third is usually business or nonprofit. So how do we tap into those local communities and start building our brand?
Now, as I understand the business model, you get 2.5% on every ticket transaction plus 99 cents.
You did your homework.
And you get a 3% processing fee if it's on a credit card.
Yes.
Is that the model that you see going forward? Because you don't take advertising revenue at this
We
point.
don't. I think so. First and foremost, we've been concerted in our lack of monetization in terms of we want to build something that is ubiquitous, around the world with live experiences. So the way in which we're actually going to succeed is by volume, not necessarily by our revenue share. I think for us, tangential monetization streams are really interesting, but not around the ticket fee. So the ticket fee is something that I think, to be honest, if we could, we'd do away with altogether, right? I think that we want to look at for ways in which we can help our customers and monetize off those additional efforts. So things like different types of marketplaces, venue marketplaces, sponsorship marketplaces, things that are going to actually add value and not just have us be detracting, or extracting revenue from. But the ticket fee in itself is core to what we call democratization, because it's so incredibly low and accessible. The average Ticketmaster fee is 15%. It really is something that we feel allows that accessibility. But it's really interesting because it's different in every single market. So once you get outside the US, payments are different. The norms of paying a ticket fee are different. And I think for us, it's about being flexible and understanding that we're going to be a global business. So we have to look at it in aggregate versus just a by market kind of comparison, if that makes sense.